Hello everyone and welcome to Analog IAS and welcome to a quick video on a very interesting event that happened recently. And that event was the election for Rajya Sabha seats for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, why is this interesting? Is because surprisingly, BJP has managed to sneak in one of its MPs in the Rajya Sabha from Jammu and Kashmir, despite not having a majority or the required number. So there are two aspects to this entire concept. The first one is, of course, understanding the Rajya Sabha election. So we'll brief on the process first, and then also looking into whether a very important point, and that is the concept of whip being applicable in such elections or not. So how are MPs in the Rajya Sabha elected? So first up, I hope you're aware that all these MPs who are sitting in this house, Rajya Sabha, they are representing the entire state. They do not represent any specific constituency. Okay? And number two, apart from age factor of being 30 or above and also being a citizen, your name must be in the voter list anywhere in the country. Though this provision was not there earlier. In fact, earlier their name had to be in the voter list in the same parliamentary constituency that they had to represent, or not the constituency, but the state that they had to represent. But since 2003, we have modified this, and the provision is now same as Lok Sabha, that you can be from any state and you can represent any other state as well. Okay. So now, coming to the election process, a very simple process where the electoral college comprises of not the people. We don't get to vote, the MLAs of the states. So all the elected MLAs of the state will vote in such elections. Okay. And we follow a system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. So all elected MLAs will vote. Now we in this election have a concept of quotas. Quota. This means that you need to get designated number of votes to be declared a winner for that particular seat. And the voting takes place only once. When the voting starts, the members have to vote, mark their preference. So let's say in any state, the number of votes or number of elected MLAs in that state is say 200. This means every MLA will cast his vote. So we'll have 200 MLAs. And say the number of seats which are available for election in that state are maybe say 3. Okay, this means 3 seats are up for election. Now in that state, there is a possibility that you might have multiple candidates who are contesting elections. So the ballot paper in this case that is given to all our MLAs looks somewhat like this, where you have names of all these candidates who are contesting these elections. And now my task is to mark preference. So if I am an MLA in the state, I will mark my preference that I feel A should become the MP. I choose A. My second choice is B, my third choice is D, fourth choice is F, fifth choice is E, etc. Now, I may or may not mark all the preferences. In fact, in a lot of cases, because of how amazing our MLAs are, the parties tell them, please don't mark too many preferences, just mark a single preference, right? So if you leave out some preferences, no problem at all, okay? But you have to mark the first preference. Beyond this, you cannot have 2 common preferences, meaning I can't mark 1-1 or 2-2, that's not possible. Because if I mark 1-1, at the very first stage of counting, my vote will be declared invalid. If I mark 2-2, maybe later stage, my vote can be declared invalid. Okay. Also, I have to mark my votes through a special pen that is given by the commission. This is how the ballot paper is, and now we mark the preferences. Now very important, how to calculate the quota. How do you get the quota? Meaning how many votes are required for someone to win one seat. So the quota is calculated based on the number of votes or valid votes which have to be polled. So number of votes, meaning number of elected MLAs, upon number of seats that are up for elections, plus 1. This plus 1 is in the denominator, and then to this entire number add 1. Okay. So in our example here, votes are 200, and to that we add number of seats 3 plus 1, and to that we also add plus 1. This means 4. 200, that is 50 plus 1, which is equal to 51. This means the candidate must get 51 votes to be declared a winner for that seat. Let's say after our round of counting, or after the very first round, we find that the person A gets, say, 58 votes. Then he or she is declared the winner. So A is a winner for seat 1. So this is for seat number 1. Now say in this particular seat somebody lost. Now whoever lost, all their votes are removed and they are transferred to the next preference. So if say somebody had, this was a list where the person had given the first preference to say B, then to C, then to D, then to A, etc. Now in this case, since A won the seat and B has lost, this vote now gets transferred to the next person. This means C becomes 1. So this vote will now go to C, whoever is contesting. Also, the winner, whatever is the extra number of votes the winner gets, they also get transferred to the next candidate or next preference. So in this case, 51 was the required quota, 58 is what A got, the difference is actually 7. These 7 votes that were received by A, the last 7 votes, they are then transferred to the next person. In that ballot paper, we'll just verify who was the next preference, and these 7 votes are transferred to the next preference. And hence we also justify the transferable factor. Now see, you have to understand, as and when we proceed further and further, seat 2, now we only have 2 seats left for election because 1 seat is gone. So now it should be 200 upon 2 plus 1 plus 1. Next quota should be this. But actually, please also realize that lot of votes are gone. Their votes have been calculated. So we have to change this number also. Okay, this number also gets reduced because 51 are gone. These votes have already been cast in the favor of A, who has won the seat. So the quota would keep on changing. And also, not every person would mark their next preference. So these extra 7 seats, just to clarify, they will all not be definitely given to the next person. Why? Maybe in these extra 7 votes, some person did not mark any other preference. What if he only chose, what if his ballot paper looked somewhat like this? First choice A, only choice A. After this vote is allocated to A, then let's say A has already won. Now this is an extra vote A received. Even if we want to transfer this vote to somebody else, there is no possibility because there is no second option. So these votes are declared exhausted. The task is over for the vote. Or if somebody marks like this, 2, 2. The first vote went to A, but since A already has received his quota of votes, all extra votes A receives have to be allocated to the next person. But here I find that both B and C have second preference. This means this vote becomes invalid. So votes can become invalid, votes can become exhausted. So your quota might keep on changing. And ultimately, this is how step by step the process continues. Now see, we will never get to know what exactly was the preference marked, right? And how many votes were actually being transferred, because this is all internal as a process. Okay, so we don't know. Now coming to what happened in Jammu and Kashmir. So just before we begin this discussion, what exactly transpired, an important point that Jammu and Kashmir, some facts on Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir has a 90 seats assembly, though actually it's 114, but we have 24 seats vacant for those areas of POJK, the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir part. So those seats are kept vacant. Now in these 90 seats, 2 seats are currently vacant. These 2 seats are vacant because one seat was the one where the CM Umar Abdullah, Budgam seat in the Budgam district, he won from 2 seats, so he resigned from 1 seat. The other seat was also, I think, in Jammu district, some seat in Jammu district where, or some constituency in Jammu district where the local MLA, he was from BJP, he passed away. Though that MLA was from earlier NC, the National Conference, he shifted to BJP. That's normal, right, for politicians. So he shifted, and then maybe the shift did not suit him much. He passed away. So that seat is also vacant. This means the valid votes are only 88. Valid votes come down to 88. Okay. Also to clarify, Sajjad Loni had, he is the JKPC chief. He had clearly said that I will not take part in the election, I will not vote. He has abstained from voting. That's one more seat less, or one more vote less. Okay. Now if you calculate based on this, this means we have the number of votes being polled upon how many seats. So we have to also understand that when it comes to the election in Jammu and Kashmir, the point is there are 4 seats available, and as far as these 4 seats are available, we need to calculate quota based on these seats. So one by one we keep on calculating the quota, and whatever quota is decided, based on that quota, the winner keeps on getting declared. So in the case of Jammu and Kashmir, as we said, we have 90 seats, 24 are vacant. So the first time for seat 1, the quota was decided because 1 seat was up for election, plus 1, plus 1. So roughly the quota in this case was 44. So this meant that any person who got 44 seats would be declared the winner for that seat. So we are now referring to seat 1. In seat 1, NC had a candidate. In seat 1, BJP had a candidate. So of course, NC got 58. Why? Because see, we have 41 MLAs from National Conference, that is the party of Umar Abdullah. So 41 MLAs belong to National Conference, plus Congress and lot of independent candidates were supporting National Conference. BJP has 28 MLAs. So after the first round, things were very clear that BJP got all its 28 votes and NC got 58 votes. BJP candidate got 28, NC candidate got 58 votes. Now you would say, but sir, this is 86. You say total votes are 87. Yes, 1 vote was declared invalid. So 1 vote was invalid. This means that vote is out of picture now. Now, the quota that the electoral officer calculated was to get 44, meaning 44 seats would declare, or 44 votes would declare the person a winner. The moment you got more than 44, all extra votes are now to be transferred to the next preference. So then comes seat number 2. Now in the seat number 2 as well, we had the same competition. National Conference set up their candidate, BJP set up their candidate. Again the quota was calculated. This time based on the internal calculations, the quota required was 43. Okay. Now the mystery starts. In this case, one S. Kichlu, he got 55 votes. 55 votes. That's a cause of concern, because in total, see, BJP maintained its votes of 28. Also, surprisingly, BJP got 29 votes. 28 MLAs, 29 votes. This meant somebody had cross-voted in favor of the BJP candidate. Though BJP lost, but cross-voting was visible. Apart from cross-voting, we also saw that 2 votes had become invalid. So, 1 cross-voting and 2 invalid. Okay. So, that is why 55 plus 2, 57 plus 1, 58, because 1 was already invalid, it is gone. Though seat 2 also went to NC comfortable quota. Now, for the 3rd and 4th seats, the quota was kept very less. The quota was 28, depending on how many seats and how many voters, etc., how many votes were transferred, did people mark the 3rd preference or not, all these things have to be calculated, which is not a part of something that is known publicly ever. Here came the mystery. Why? Because after this, what happened was that we saw rampant cross voting, 3 invalid votes and 4 cross votes. 3 votes invalid and 4 people cross voted. This means they voted for BJP's candidate, which meant that BJP got somehow 1 seat, which it would not get otherwise. And total loss for NC was almost 7 seats. This is how BJP ended up getting 1 seat in the Rajya Sabha from Jammu and Kashmir. Quite unexpected actually. But now comes a bigger question. How does voting take place here with respect to vis-a-vis the whip? Is whip applicable? I mean, the answer is yes and no. Because whip per se is not applicable, meaning it's a conscience vote. So, we have in RPA 1951 an amendment made section 59 that such voting in Rajya Sabha will be made through an open ballot. So, all this voting is done through an open ballot. What does it mean? This means that if I am a BJP MLA, after I mark my preference and before I drop my vote in the ballot box, there is no EVM here, ballot box, I must show my vote to a party agent who is sitting there to verify, open ballot. So, my party knows whether I have cross voted or not. Okay. So, BJP MLAs, they voted for their party, BJP knows. National Conference claims that all their MLAs voted for their party because you have to show the vote. Though some people are claiming that NC members were the ones who cross voted. But for an independent member, an independent MLA, he need not show his vote to anyone, right? So, in that case, possibly, Umar Abdullah's assumption is that a lot of these independent people who had claimed that they would vote in favor of an NC candidate, they were the ones who cross voted. Sadly, we'll never know, right? Whether it was NC, because is NC lying on this fact, right? Because Sajjad Loni says that NC is lying. It is the NC members who are cross voting and who have cross voted. But Mr. Abdullah says that no, we know all our votes, our party members had shown us all the votes, all those votes were for us only. We never know. So comes the question, is whip applicable? And also to clarify, this open ballot system which is there in the election for Rajya Sabha elections, this has also been upheld in the Kuldeep Nair case 2006, that yes, this is fully allowed. However, because this voting is not a voting in the house, right, on a bill, proposal, etc. Hence, this voting does not come under whip, does not come under anti-defection law. So, there is no whip that the party can issue. I mean, the party can issue any whip it wants, but voting against the party will not result in disqualification. That's the whole point. So, yes, we see a lot of cross votes happening last year, We saw this case in Himachal Pradesh as well. So we do see issues happening with respect to Rajya Sabha elections. Voting, cross voting is pretty common. If not cross voting, then invalid votes are done deliberately. So these issues do come up. And as far as what is going to happen to those people, let's say if a national conference MLA had cross voted, what will happen? The party decides. If I belong to a party and I had to show my vote to my party and I deliberately cross voted, my party knows it. My party can take a stand whether it wants me to continue or will it expel me from the party or not. It cannot disqualify me, just to clarify. It cannot take away my membership, but it can expel me from the party. So what action can be taken is based completely on the party. That's it. Otherwise, no other action can be taken as far as or vis-a-vis your membership. Okay. But in this case, as NC claims, National Conference claims that it's all these independent members who have cross-voted. So we never even know, though they are claiming that we have identified those members, etc. That's more of a political statement, right? To just push this idea that I know what is happening, right? I am not unaware of it. So that's it. That's the whole idea of a Rajya Sabha election. So in this case, things to remember. Again, these details of who cross-voted, how many cross-voted, none of our business as far as exams are concerned. But what is important is to understand that in the Rajya Sabha elections, all elected MLAs vote. There is a quota, the formula that you know now, and also very important that the voting is through an open ballot system as declared by Supreme Court also to be completely valid under RPA section 59, and also no whip is applicable. However, since it's an open ballot, you have to show your vote to the party agent or the party member who has been appointed in this behalf, and the party might take action against you vis-a-vis the party's regulations, but you will not be losing out on membership because ADL is not applicable here. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this small snippet on how Rajya Sabha elections work, and then we'll meet in some other video. Till then, that is all for me. Jai Hind.